Man, this helicopter crash was crazy.
New York Helicopters markets themselves as having the best aerial views of New York City, but now it is facing scrutiny after one of its helicopters took its last flight, resulting in 6
How did this
deaths.
happen?
This is something we could have avoided.
New York City Council member Christopher Marte represents the district where the helicopter took off from. He's been advocating to put a stop to helicopter tour companies, pointing to past tragedies. In 2018, 5 people died when a no-door helicopter crashed and sank in the East
No
River,
doors?
leaving passengers trapped in their safety harnesses.
How do you get out?
On the other side of the Hudson River, Jersey City Mayor Steve Fulop sharing his own concerns.
It is a very trafficked and busy area, and it is something that Jersey City residents consistently complain about.
Hopefully we can pass some sort of federal legislation, or our counterparts in New Jersey can pass legislation to make sure that we don't have these tour groups going up to helicopters.
Following the crash, a spokesman for Skyports, one of the firms that manages the heliport where the aircraft took off, issued a statement that said in part, quote, "Our hearts go out to the families and friends of all those impacted by
How
this
did this
horrible
happen?
incident. We are cooperating with all the appropriate agencies and thank all of the first responders for their efforts." We reached out to the tour company this evening, but we have yet to hear back.
We begin tonight with the breaking news, the tragedy here in New York City, a helicopter plunging into the Hudson River, killing all 6 people on board, the pilot and a family of 5 on a tour flight visiting from Spain, a mother and father and their 3 children. Again, no one survived this. The chilling scene in the waters of the Hudson. The crash happened in the part of the river between Lower Manhattan and Jersey City in New Jersey. Video showing the helicopter spinning and flipping.
Dude, this is
down.
not far from me at all.
The fuselage there, the bulk of the helicopter, the
Like,
rotor blade.
if I was looking out the window at the right time, I might be able to. Not really, but it's crazy.
Appears to come apart from the rest of the aircraft before the crash into the river. Witnesses could see the chopper breaking apart as it was going down, the rotor spinning as it falls.
How does that
Splashing
happen?
into the water following the fuselage as it came down.
My goodness.
The helicopter then floating to the surface upside down, divers racing into the water to search for the pilot and passengers. And again, there were no survivors. Tonight, the investigation here, how could this happen? The rotor blade coming apart. How old was that helicopter? And we have now learned that the chopper was in the sky over Manhattan for about 15 minutes before it came crashing down.
Wow.
Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron.
Man, if that shit came down and then right over the city in the middle of some street somewhere, it was just flying above the city.
Tursky leading us off tonight. He's on the scene.
Money trees, what is going on?
Tonight, 6 people killed after
Man,
a
this is
helicopter with
crazy.
a family of tourists on board broke apart and plummeted into the Hudson River.
I
off
really
New York
gotta
City.
know how this
Just
should
after
happen.
3:15 this afternoon.
Be advised, you do have an aircraft down Holland Tunnel.
Was it just like old, worn out? It's crazy.
Please keep your eyes open for anybody in the water.
The tourist chopper going down on the Hudson between Lower Manhattan and Jersey City. This video showing the chopper splashing down, the rotor blades still spinning in the air before it lands in the water. Fire rescue boats and the Coast Guard racing to the spot where it went down. The chopper fuselage upside down. The rough, choppy water just 49 degrees. Law enforcement officials tell ABC News the helicopter was carrying a family, 2 adults and 3 children, tourists from Spain, in addition to 1 pilot.
I saw the helicopter. It was just coming down in that 45 angle, and it went straight into the water. It was a big splash.
Witnesses watching in horror.
It sounded like a sonic boom on my right. So I look up and literally I just see a helicopter splitting in 2 with the rotor flying off in the sky. It was going so fast and just went straight into the water, and like nothing came up afterwards. It must have just sunk.
And I heard a loud snap, or like a kind of sound barrier breaking sound, and I could see a helicopter falling on its side.
How's this shit happen,
next to that
though?
red barge over there, and then the rotor on the top fell off as well and then hit the water.
If your rotor system disintegrates, goes away, stops, blows
If-
up, or loses a blade,
Rest in peace to all those people, and I feel bad for the families. It's terrible. If you imagine trying to put yourself in the shoes of someone in the family, You can't even believe it. It's you can't ever be ready for that.
Whole ability to fly is 100% compromised at that point, and you're simply going to go down. It's very seldom that we have a helicopter crash that resulted from a disintegration of the lift system. That's what this begins to sound like, and it's very rare.
FAA records show the helicopter is 21 years old. Flight radar 24 showing the chopper was in the air over Manhattan for about 15 minutes before it broke apart. It was the helicopter's 6th flight of the day.
So let's bring in Aaron Katursky. He's on the scene for us tonight. And Aaron, you reported on the family of 5 on.
I live near New York City, and I actually know someone. Not like I don't know them personally, but I where I worked, they did business there. That was a helicopter pilot in this area for something, a tourist pilot. They fly around the city or whatever, show you the views.
On board, these were tourists visiting the U.S. on a flight.
Gosh, I hope it wasn't crazy.
Over the city. The pilot.
I knew this guy like 10 years ago.
Do authorities think they had any chance here as rescuers dove into the water late today trying to save them?
And those divers told us, David, they did everything they could, but eyewitnesses said the helicopter came down very fast. The Hudson River is frigid. Rescue boats sped toward the wreckage site, but by the time they got there, they saw the helicopter had come down upside down, David.
Just a horrible toll there today. And you also reported that that tour helicopter was actually flying over Manhattan, over New York City for about 15 minutes before this crash. Obviously, the crash in itself is awful, but authorities also know this could have happened, right over the city.
Yeah, David, these helicopter tourist flights are quite common. This particular Bell 206 was on its 6th run.
Yeah, there's probably 10 of them doing 6 a day.
Of the day. A similar tourist helicopter actually crashed into the Hudson River in 2018, and ever since, there's been a debate about
One
how
crashed
many
7
of these
years ago.
flights there are over such a busy corridor in the city, David.
Our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, on the scene of this deadly chopper crash tonight. Aaron, thank you.
Maybe they should think about how many flights should be going over the city like that.